Hey, welcome back to the Garden Rebel channel. And I'm sorry today we're not going to be able to do any gardening videos. We have had a huge amount of rainfall in the last couple days. And the garden is nothing but mud. So we're stuck doing other household projects. And I really don't mind that. It kind of gives me a break to address some issues that I need to get done. But I'd like to take this time to thank you for watching the video. And on this video, we're addressing an issue that I had a comment about, and it was really a question. One of my subscribers had bought some chicks and was getting ready to place them out in the pen, and they were worried that rodents may wind up attacking the chickens or causing them harm or killing them, and that does happen. And also mice and rodents steal eggs, believe it or not. We have had this problem in the past due to the water that we have on our property. It kind of draws them in. And at one time we had about 13 laying hens, and you could find eggs scattered out through the woods where the rats had drug them and buried them and ate them, you know, things of that nature. So I came up with something that was cheap, effective, and it works around the place. However, there are a few things you're going to need. One of them is a bucket with a lid, a piece of wire. Now I've got a cordless drill, but you really don't need a cordless drill. You can take a nail and do what I'm fixing to do. And I have a little like razor blade knife. You can use anything, regular knife. I've also got a piece of hardware cloth. Okay. Now, to save us some time on this video, I actually went ahead and cut some holes right here, finger size. I usually take a quarter, lay on there and trace out with a Sharpie, and I'll cut a hole in it. But this time I just kind of guessed and actually cut the finger where cut the hole where my finger would barely go through up until the middle part. And that's big enough, okay? This one got a little bit too big, so I just flipped the bucket top, the lid around, and redone it, okay? I took the drill and drilled 2 small holes above it. Now, whenever you get your bucket, you're actually going to drill a hole dead center of it, right in the back where the divot is. Just take your drill, run it through there, and kind of enlarge the hole a little bit. You don't have to have a big drill bit. Okay, now that part's done. Set it to the side. Next, we've got some commercial, I call it rat pools, and other people would call it something else, you know. Name it what you want to name it. But I got this in a bucket that comes in chunk form. I can't remember the name of the brand that we bought. It's just commercial rodent poison. But this has a hole drilled in the center of it. Okay? So this is where your wire comes in. I've got about 2 foot of wire right here. I'm actually going to run the rat poison onto the wire. And normally I would take some peanut butter and rub on this, or I would place some hot dogs. Just slice up some hot dog weenies and slide you a couple sections on this wire, because rats and rodents will go after that quicker than they will the poison. And the peanut butter adds to it too. It just kind of draws them in. Put my lid right there, and we're going to turn our bucket up this way, and we are going to feed the wire through the hole that we just drilled in our bucket. We're going to pull it through where the poison just kind of sets on the bottom. Like that right there. Okay? And you're going to flip it up. You're going to bend your wire. And you're just going to twist the excess around it. That way it does not get pulled out. Take my wire clippers. Alright, the rodents can reach it. Next, we're going to work on our lid. And like I said, I've already cut the lid, the holes, and I've got 2 holes drilled up on top of it. Now the reason I drilled that was for the hardware cloth. Okay, we're going to put our hardware cloth on the inside of the lid. We're going to take a section of the wire that we just cut off, and we're going to run it through the 2 holes that I drilled and through the hardware cloth. Simply kind of like making a hinge. We're going to pull that tight, and we're going to twist it around like we would a bread tie. I'm not going to cut none off that, I'm just going to leave it like that. Just kind of fold it flat into place. Now, what's going to happen, the rodent's going to come through here and see how it raises up. The rodents actually, or mice, is actually going to crawl down or to the side of it. Once it's in there and it can ingest the poison, it's going to come back and try to get out of the door eventually. And you've got your wire up there. The mouse would have to raise it up and crawl through there, but once it starts hitting the barbs that's left over from the wire, usually a lot of times it backs up. Now sometimes they do get out, but sometimes they don't. And we're simply going to place our lid. Right. Alright, so we got our bucket done, our poison's in it, our little gates there. Where do we place this jewel? Well, you don't want to really put it too close to your chicken coop, because if a mouse or rat or rodent does get out of the containment system, it's a possibility that it could go back into the coop, and that is not something you want. You actually want to keep the dead animals as far away as possible from your chickens, because they will start consuming them. Let's just say that. So what I suggest is take a little bit of your feed that you're using for your chickens and place it in the bucket. Set it away from your chicken coop about 15, 20, 30 feet away, depending on how big the area you have. And stick this in the corner. Once you start drawing the rodents out and they start using this, there should be no problem with them traveling that area after they have been inside the containment unit. They may not get out because of the wire screen, but let's not take that chance. Some of them may figure a way out, and that'll be, you know, bad luck for us. Well, more bad luck for the chicken, but we don't want that to happen. So, wire, piece of hardware cloth, a free bucket, and a chunk of rat poison, and we'll bait it up with whatever items you have in the house. I prefer peanut butter hot dogs again. That's just an idea, but I would put some peanut butter in here. They seem to be attracted to peanut butter really well. So we've probably got $2, $3 if you count the rat poison. But let's walk over the steps that we've got. We've got our bucket, we had our poison, pair of wire cutters, needle nose pliers, drill with a drill bit, or you can punch a nail or punch a hole with a nail to the bottom. Okay? Cut it about finger size, no bigger than a quarter. You don't want nothing that big. A rat or a mouse could slide in that hole very easy. You'd be surprised what they could get their body into. Okay? Now if you've got a bigger rodent problem, I suggest using a live trap and just baiting it with peanut butter, and they'll go in there and get caught, and you'll have to dispose of them however you can. We'll not go into those gory details on this video. However, that brings us to a close on our mouse containment unit, or rodent containment unit. Pretty easy project to do with simple tools, and anybody can do it. Again, I'm going to apologize because we haven't been able to produce and put out some of the gardening videos. The weather's just been horrible down here the last week and a half. So hopefully within the next week we'll be able to kick out some gardening videos and The garden is coming into life. The only problem is with the vegetable plants, there's also the weed plants. And I've really got to get back in there and take care of that issue. Again, I'd like to thank the people that's watching these videos. I do appreciate your subscribing to it. Please feel free to leave a comment. In the comments, you can leave a question, just like the person did about the rodent problem, and I'll try to address them as soon as I can. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and having the southern accent that I have, a lot of words are difficult for me to pronounce properly, and I apologize for that. They're a little bit too late in life to come to a solution to that problem. However, I want to thank you for your subscriptions. There I go. And I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit like or leave us a comment for the first time, and we'll be glad to have that feedback. So, for the Gardener Rebel, I'm Reb, and I'm out of here. But before I go, as promised in my last video, I was going to post the growing days for the upcoming month from the Farmer's Almanac. And I went and looked at the calendar, and I pulled up the Farmer's Almanac, and I've got the list compiled of the barren days, the best days for above ground crops, and the best days for below ground crops. So get ready to pause your YouTube video right here in a couple seconds, and you can jot those dates down or print them off, do a screenshot, and you'll have them saved. So for that, I'm out of here. Until next time, y'all have a great week, a great planting season, and I hope to see you back real soon. So I'll see y'all later, and here's the planting dates. Thanks for watching. Say something.
Mama.
Tell Jackson, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's